Hi, sorry.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're just finishing the film. I apologize. How's it going, guys?
It's going okay, Coach. Why don't we just jump right in? You said you just finished watching the film. I guess maybe some finishing thoughts on yesterday's win over Fresno as we wrap this week up.
Well, it was obviously a win that was important to us that we needed to get, and I thought the players fought hard, and that 95-yard drive at the end was pretty defining for us. It was good to, move the ball when we needed to move the ball, make some plays when we needed to make some plays, and hopefully it gives us confidence going forward. We just have to, keep our nose to the grindstone, as they say, and just keep working hard and believing in what we're doing and preparing the way we prepare every week, and we'll keep making progress. But it was good to after 3 really tough weeks and getting beat up pretty good, it was nice to come back and win a hard-fought game. And I think those games where you have to really fight and struggle and find a way to win at the end can really help you grow. So it was a good day.
Coach, we'll start with Dom Amore. Go ahead, Dom.
Hey, Jim. I wonder if you could recount for us the moment that you first met or became aware of Zion, and what was it that first clicked with you where you said, this could be the guy for us?
It would have been when I watched him on film and then, learned about him through research, and, I already knew about that program and how prominent it was, and, seeing his record there as a starting quarterback and really learning how, as a young player there, he beat out some older guys to get that job, and then led his team to, I think they lost 3 games in his 3 years as a starter. That's the first thing that kind of catches your eye, a big time player at a big time program who started early in his career and had a lot of success, and certainly was surrounded by a lot of good players. But and then when I got a chance to meet him, and his family too, his family's a lot of it as well, but just his demeanor, he's very humble yet confident at the same time, had a peaceful demeanor about him, and well-spoken. It was fun to watch him with his siblings. He just seemed like a caring person, caring brother. His parents are wonderful people. And he just seemed like a really good fit, and so getting to watch him on film, knowing the background that he came from as an athlete, and then getting a chance to meet him and his family just put it all together for us.
Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Ian Swenson, talking to him afterwards, he said it's a new season. It feels like kind of a new season, a new beginning for this team. Can you kind of explain that mentality and what that means?
Well, I guess you would say that, coming out of the gate and playing, I think Utah State was ranked when we played them, and North Michigan certainly was, Syracuse is, North Carolina State I'm sure still is, although they got beat by Clemson last night. It was a very it was a tough stretch. It was a real challenge, and I think sometimes when you kind of weather that storm and you come out with a new win, or with a win, after going through a tough grind like that, you kind of have maybe a feeling of a rebirth or a new season, or a new form of optimism. So I would speculate that's what he was talking about.
Kyle Mayer, go ahead.
Coach, I just wanted to know if there was any update on Durante Jones. I know he left the game last night with a head injury.
I've not got an update yet. He, like I think we should be, we're very, 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 very careful anytime you're dealing with the head, neck, or spine, or really any injury, but specific, I think the head, neck, and spine, because they can be so permanent in terms of their lasting damage. But I have not yet gotten a report. I know Durante on the sidelines was adamant that he could go back in, and our medical staff and our athletic training staff was adamant that he not go in, and we were not going to let him go back in at all. But I know that anytime you suffer any type of concussion-like syndrome or symptoms, you go in the protocol. And to be quite frank with you, I don't know exactly what the protocol is, and I have. It's not that I have faith in our doctors or trust in our doctors. I mean, that's an absolute, and I do. It's just that, they would make the decision always on whether a player was fit to return to play. That would never be my decision. And I have, like I said, complete trust in them. So when they tell me how he is, and they clear him 100%, then he'll be back out there. But I know that, knowing him, he'll do all he can. I don't think this is a type of injury where, you can do much rather than just let your body heal.
Rivals, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Justin Joly had, a few big catches last night, especially on third down. I wanted to know if you could give us just a bit of a primer on the progress he's made since arriving this past summer.
Well, he's made a lot of progress, and physically he's gotten a lot bigger. He's probably gained 13 pounds since he got here, and it's good weight, and he looks solid. He's an athletic kid that's starting to really learn his role in our offense. We're able to design some things up for him because he's a unique athlete. He does pose a matchup problem at times for people. And, he's finally starting to get settled and understand, what we are offensively, what we're trying to do offensively, and how we're trying to use him. And, he can be a guy, I think, that can create matchup problems down the road for us.
Roger Cleveland, go ahead.
Coach, the positive signs that you saw in your defense against North Carolina State, did you see them just come to fruition a little bit more in this last game? I mean, is that what leads to a performance like this?
Yeah, I mentioned last week that I felt a little more optimistic after watching the film than I did after, walking in the locker room after the NC State game. And it was little things that we, I'd mentioned to you guys, like just, our leverage and our play entry and getting off blocks on the correct side of the block, or, playing with a little more hand violence, communication, being in better position. And those things showed up to a higher extent yesterday as well. Now we're far, far, far from perfect. We've got a lot of work to do, but it was good to see the progress that we've made pay off in the performance that we put on display yesterday.
And after watching the film, you see a little bit more positive signs on the offensive side as well, where you can see some plays kind of coming together.
Yeah, it was really interesting yesterday is that I think it was 7-6, and yet I felt really confident in our offense because you started to see some things that were giving you a lot of hope. You mentioned Justin Joly and, some shots over the middle to him that Zion was making, and a little more certainty in Zion and his, tucking it and running, or just, drawing back and slinging it in there. So I felt actually, even had we not won that game, I would have felt more confident in our offense coming out of it just by the way they played and the demeanor and the energy that they played with. And, we've still got a lot left that we can improve on, a ton we can improve on. And what's great is these guys, they realize that, and they can't wait to get back to work. The players.
How did Devontae come out of the game with the shoulder? I mean, obviously a lot of carries, some good yardage for you. Is he feeling pretty good?
No, no, he's not. He's feeling probably pretty beat up. I talked to him after the game, and running back's a tough position. I mean, you get beat up, and when you're not a guy of, he's not very big, yet he's very tough and he runs hard. And sometimes it looks like he kind of glances off of those blows, but they have a lasting impact on him. And I hope, by Thursday or Friday, he starts to feel less sore, but, he'll practice all week because that's who he is. And we won't hit him all week. We'll put the red jersey on him again. and he'll go out there Saturday night and he'll play like heck again. And he's just a tough kid, but I'm sure he's pretty sore. He was sore after the game, so I can imagine the day after he's even more so.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Joe.
Coach, talking about, you mentioned Justin Jolly in the tight end position. You've used a couple, I think 3 or 4 guys there. What has that position kind of been like, and what did you see from Justin that kind of made him get the call this week?
It's the position in this whole is pretty unique in that, we've got some different body types there. And, we use Rayante there as well. And, he's wearing those dang knee braces. So, he doesn't really look like a receiving threat with those things on. But, and then we'll use Chris Fortin there a little bit, but specific to the guys that are actually tight ends. Brandon Aminsky does a good job. He's pretty versatile. He can go inline block and out. We'd probably, rather use him a little bit displaced from the core. And then Will Dixon and Bo, are more of H-back types. And then Justin is the guy that, you label him as a tight end, but we call him an H-back, but really he's a guy that's got a lot of versatility. You saw we split him out as a single receiver on the weak side, put him in the slot. When you get an athlete like that, that's got some size and athleticism and can run a bit, you want to put him in positions where he's matched up on a linebacker that he can, take advantage in terms of his speed or quickness or athleticism. And if you get him lined up on a defensive back, hopefully his size can work to his advantage. So, I would hope that as we continue through this season, he becomes more prominent in our offense.
And we watched that embrace with you and Nick Charlton after the game. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with him and how that's kind of developed over the last couple of weeks, especially with all the challenges that you've had?
Well, I think I just have I really trust him. I really like him. I really respect him. He's had a tough year. We honored his mom yesterday. She walked out with our captains. She's fighting like crazy for her life against cancer. And, I watched this guy, I call him a kid because I could probably be his grandpa, talking about Nick, but it's so important to him, and he's got a great work ethic. And I've seen him just battling to do everything he can to get guys in the right position to make plays. And, it was emotional for him, I think, yesterday, very emotional for him. And I just, I really care about him. I care about this whole staff, but, he's been a head coach. He knows what it's like to be in my shoes. And I think I know what it's like to be in his. And I don't know, we've just got a pretty darn good relationship, I really respect him. I look at him, as a guy I can trust.
How close would you say you work together throughout the week? Is it like you're together all the time, or does
Not
he kind
really.
of
We see each other at practice, and we pass each other in the halls, and any staff meeting we have. But he spends his time with the offense. I spend most of my time with the defense. Of course, the team meetings and things like that. But we're in constant contact, through the day. It's just, but I spend probably more. I spend most of my time with the defensive staff, but Nick and I spend a good bit of time together. I just have a great deal of trust in him and a lot of respect for him, and he's a really good man. Really good man.
Roger, go ahead.
The encouraging signs that you saw in the offense, are those things where you can just see that players are finally getting things, or are they understanding Nick's offense a little bit better, or where does that good feeling come from, or the little bit better execution come from?
I think that probably kind of a combination of the first two things you said there, and they're understanding what they're supposed to do. They're getting some repetitions doing it, and so they're becoming better at it. And in becoming better at it, they're seeing that they're able to make some plays, and so their confidence grows. And there's always that point in time where in transition where there's still some uncertainty. You're still trying to learn what to do. It's a little more detailed at times than people would think just by watching on television. And I think the players are starting to kind of I said this before a long time ago, and I can't remember if I said it to you people or not, but it's more than just understanding your job. It's understanding concepts that, you know, helps you become a good offense, where everyone fits and where you fit in particular. I think they're starting to understand the concepts better and more completely, rather than just understanding what their job is within the concept. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, it does. But toward that end, I've heard people scoff at the fact that a few players have called Nick a genius, an offensive genius. And you obviously compared him to some pretty lofty offensive minds. What is it that you do see in him that the fans haven't seen yet just now? Is it you see his concept and you understand how once they're, you know, executed, there awful good things could come from it?
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what else is, I don't think he's stubborn, you know, and he has no ego. And a lot of times, well, at least I've seen it several times. I haven't really worked with guys like this, but their ego gets the best of them, and they think they're the show, and it's all about them rather than about the players. And you know, Nick understands very, very, very well what we're capable of offensively, where we are in our progression, what we are still struggling to learn. And, you know, he would love to open it up more, and he would love to zing it all over the field. I mean, he's a guy that's been known for, you know, play action pass game and getting the ball down the field, but that's just not who we're capable of being yet. You know, whether it's an inexperience or, you know, inexperience in our scheme or skill set. And rather than just trying to push to be what, you know, he wants us to look like, he's making sure we look like we need to look to have the chance to grow into the offense we want to become. And, yeah, to me, that's hard when you're an offensive coordinator. You know, people are out there going, you just go run, pass, or run, pass, run, which is, none of that's necessarily true. It might be true in a couple of series here and there, but you know, it's hard to set your ego aside and say, okay, how are we going to have a chance to win the game, develop as an offense, develop our players, build confidence, and win. And you know, he does a good job of setting his ego aside.
Thank you.
Okay, Coach, I think that's going to do it for today. Appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, you guys have a great night. I'll see you guys Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Bye-bye.